Let's welcome into the show here. A good friend of ours, covers the Detroit Lions for MLive.com and the Detroit Pistons. Does both. Does great work. Our good friend Kory Woods. Kory, how are we doing, my friend?
Yo, what's going on? And yo, real quick, I am off Pistons this season, actually.
No Pistons. Oh, see, you need a break. Good for you, man. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, he's an absolute sicko. Yeah, good for you.
Wow.
Yeah, good for you, bro. I will say, Kory, this. I mean, we talked about at the beginning of the show. These injuries.
Yeah.
I mean, what the hell? I mean, it seemed like last year the D-line was suffering all these injuries, Kory. Now I checked the injury report today. I mean, you got like 19 guys in the secondary on the injury report. I mean, you got Brian, who was a little banged up. Kirby's banged up. Taron Arnold out. Probably DJ Reed on IR. Now Maddox all of a sudden is a hamstring injury. What the hell's going on in this secondary? What's kind of like your concern level with what's going on there?
It's very interesting, to be quite honest. I mean, man, it's like a new name that pops up. I don't know if you guys have mentioned it. Khalil Dorsey, he's out as well.
Another one. Yep.
Yeah, so that's something to monitor. Kirby Joseph, he has the knee injury. He went from the sleeve to the bigger brace, so that's something to also monitor. But yeah, this secondary is banged up. It's just one of those bizarre things that has been kind of biting the Lions in the butt. As they're getting some of those guys in that front seven back, like Lee McNeil is on his way back. We've seen Malcolm Rodriguez around the building. Don't know if he's on his way back or not, but I mean, he's a guy that's expected to be back. So there's some of that front seven is coming back. Some of that secondary is going out. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, Kory, I do want to ask you, I saw it today. You spoke with JMO, and obviously there's been all the conversations, and I saw the question you asked about, the fan base, trying to figure out if JMO, obviously he's not getting the targets, especially last week and then the week before they were kind of going at him and they weren't connecting. What are your thoughts on the JMO situation? And also too, Kory, what was the conversation like today with JMO? Did it feel like he was a little bit more positive and like, hey, I'm good to go no matter what, as long as we're winning football games?
Yeah, so I'll explain why I even asked JMO that question. What I asked JMO was from what I personally have seen, I'm not trying to stir nothing up, but from what I have seen, I saw fans were wondering like, oh, get JMO the ball. You need to get JMO the ball. Now, that could either be just some casual fans, that could be some fantasy owner guys, or probably some sports bettors, because, I mean, if people were actually really watching the game, they would know that the things that Dan Campbell, Kelvin Shepard, and even John Morton said today is very true. JMO was drawing two defenders. Teams are playing too high against them, so they're playing a shell coverage to keep him from going over the top. So if you got JMO going over the top, I mean, they got everything underneath. So I asked him, like, hey, for the fans the some fans are asking this, what do you have to say to them that are kind of worried about if you're worried about your targets? And he's basically kind of wiping it off because they're 4-1. They're sitting atop the NFC North. They have the NFL's number one. They're scoring the most points in the game, 34.8, and they're winning. And he's playing winning football. And even though he's not showing everything that some fans want to see in the stat sheets, is contributing to what they're doing so amazing right now. Like St. Brown is open, Laporte is open. He's freeing up everybody else. Or Jahmyr Gibbs. So I don't really make too much of anything of it. I think right now, the one thing is that he just wants to play. He wants to get past. He doesn't want to really talk about it anymore. It's just that, hey, they're winning. He got paid.
Yep.
Obviously, I mean, he's a player. He would like to make, he probably would like some more touchdowns. You never know. But I mean, he got paid. He's making winning plays. He's one of the first players on the sideline to congratulate players that are scoring. And be the first one to celebrate there with them. So I don't really think it's anything serious. I think it's more so, like I just said, the fantasy owner fans, the people that are betting on their parlays, they're the ones that are probably upset that JMO's not getting touches. Anybody that's actually watching the game is understanding why the Lions, while Jared Goff is not dialing, getting the targets to him that they will probably want.
I've interrupted the video to tell you about the sponsor of today's episode. That is Sleeper Fantasy, a proud sponsor of Crunch Time Sports. It's a fantasy sports plus real money gaming app focused on bringing people together through sports. It's become the fastest organically growing fantasy platform. It has. And they also have Sleeper Picks, which you should be using. It's a real money product that connects friends over picks. It's very simple. You can see on the screen now my picks for Lions Chiefs. You choose more or less than predicted stats. On Sleeper, you can get up to 1,000x payouts. they're offering something for their users right now. Also, free $20, no deposit required. Plus, first-time users still also receive a 100% deposit match up to $100. Just use the code CT Sports and get involved today. Now, let's get back to the video. Yeah, Kory, that is me. I'm the FanDuel guy. All right, that's exactly me. I'm the guy bitching about the yards. Let me ask you this: quarterback matchup, Jared Goff, Mahomes. The way that Jared Goff's playing this season, he's first in passing touchdowns. He's balling, and we've already had we've talked. I mean, plenty of people talked about what he's done this year with the new OC, new O-line. What's kind of been your thoughts on his level of play? I know he got hit. Giovanni Manu gave up 2 sacks. One of them was pretty rough on Jared. He seems to be extremely just tough and resilient. What has kind of been your thoughts on how he's been playing this season? And I guess the likelihood, or your confidence level, I hope end up being in that MVP conversation once again this year, because he's on pace to have a massive year statistically.
I mean, yeah, Goff didn't. I personally believe if Goff did not have that game last year against the Texans, he would have won MVP last year. That's really the only thing that he did bad during the regular season. But right now, Jared Goff is playing at an MVP arc, and it's not, I guess you can say, as sexy or whatever as how Lamar Jackson or Patrick Mahomes have done it. But I kind of equate it to and I said this to a friend, he's like the NFL's version of Tim Duncan. It doesn't always look the greatest as far as highlights or whatnot, but I mean, it's efficient. So, and that's really what matters at the end of the day. I think that as long as he continues at the way he is right now and that line keeps him upright, he's going to be just fine. I mean, what more can you ask of him right now?
Yeah, and Kory, one thing, the biggest thing that actually Jeff and I have talked about, obviously the return potentially of Aleem McNeil. How do you see something we've kind of tried to figure out is how they're going to do this rotation inside, especially the interior of the defensive line. We already know kind of with AQM and Hutch, how they're kind of doing the edges, but this interior, when Aleem returns, how do you see them kind of throwing this rotation in and out? Because Roy Lopez obviously is going to take a step back, but guys like DJ Reader and Tyleek, they've both been playing really good. So it's like, who do you pull snaps back from? How do you think they end up approaching this situation?
Ooh, I don't know. That's a great question. That also depends on how Aleem McNeil looks when he gets out there. I think a good sign that he's back on the way, that he's been a full participant lately. So I think that means he might be coming back. Out the gate, I don't think you need to throw him right into the fire. I think that, me and Ben talked about it today. I think maybe in that first game, maybe even the first couple of games, just roll him out there for about 15 or 20 snaps. Don't need to overload his play too much, because, again, you want to have that guy for the long haul. You did not have him towards the end of the season last year. So I would say put him on a pitch count to get him started. And then, I mean, as he continues to play, it is if his play continues to rise, he's showing that he's being productive, he's fully recovered, and everything is all good to go. I mean, boy, does Casey Rogers have an abundance of riches, a great problem to worry about figuring that out. So I don't know how that would go. I would just assume that if Aleem is back to his normal self that was trending towards that Pro Bowl arc, you would probably end up starting him aside next to Reader, but they got ways that can get tricky with this.
Do you think too, Kory? The one thing that's interesting to me is going into this year, I think we all thought Mekhi Wingo was going to end up having not obviously a massive role, but some sort of role, and he's just been a healthy scratch. How do you see this thing going with Mekhi? Because it feels like there's no light at the end of the tunnel for him to get reps with how deep this room is, and he's just always now healthy scratches.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting. That's something I was actually going to ask Dan tomorrow. So stay tuned on that one, because I mean, yeah, with the Aleem on his way back, he's going to be one of those healthy scratches. I mean, we also talked about it today, like a guy like Chris Smith. When Aleem comes back, that's a guy that's probably going right to the practice squad. He's one of the first people that you're going to probably mention. So I don't know how that's going to how that's going to affect the Wingo off the back, but I mean, it's definitely something I'm going to check. I'm going to ask about if I can get a question tomorrow.
Yeah, Kory, I do want to ask you about this Chiefs game. What's kind of your thoughts on the matchup? I know Chiefs are favored by 2.5. They're at home. They're coming off a loss. What have you kind of made of the Chiefs and how they've looked this year? And what's your thoughts on this matchup and just maybe some players to watch with, maybe things you're concerned about?
Well, the thing I'm concerned about is that the Chiefs are really in a desperation mode. I mean, where they are right now, it's not ideal for them. You go ahead and I got them in a position they don't want to be 2-4. So the concern I have is the secondary's banged up. They've already been giving up points late. They gave up 3 touchdowns in that fourth quarter to Jake Browning, and I think it's safe to say that this is not Jake Browning that they're about to go see on Sunday. And you have a desperate Chiefs team with a still lethal offense by Andy Reid. And for me, I have the Chiefs. I'm not gonna. When we did our season predictions, I had the Chiefs losing this game based on their desperation and the Lions secondary. I do have the Chiefs winning just because I think that Mahomes is going to be able to go ahead and test that secondary and really get some shots off, because I mean these guys are super banged up right now. But I will say this: Ben brought this up, and I got to give him the credit. If you're able to go ahead and roll Aleem McNeil out there for like about 15 to 20 snaps, this will be the game to do it. I was initially against it, but this is be the game to do it because of that secondary. If you can go ahead and pressure him and get him into some situations you don't want to, things might be able to go in your favor. But I had the Chiefs winning 35-28. I don't know if I'm going to flip-flop or not, but I'm going to stick with my prediction for right now just because I just have concerns about the secondary.
Yeah, something else too going into this game. Obviously, the offensive line a little beat up, especially Taylor Decker kind of going for the next few weeks potentially. What are your thoughts on this O-line, Kory? Is it going to be a Dan Skipper? Obviously, they just signed him. Is going to be like Dan Skipper show at that left tackle spot?
I think that Dan Skipper could see some time, but I think honestly that if Taylor Decker's not going, and I think they should play Taylor Decker, I think Manu's going to go ahead and get that start again. I mean, you got to think about this. His first start he had to deal with Trey Hendrickson. I mean, like, that's tough for anybody. That's tough for people that have been a seasoned vets to have that assignment. So to have him in his first game, I mean, like, what a litmus test. So one thing that we saw in week 1 was that, a guy like Christian Mahogany, he struggled. And he said he took that week, got everything that he needed to get correct with Hank Fraley, and boom, he's been smooth sailing since. I think that, Manu, they're going to go ahead and give him another chance to, I don't want to say redeem himself, but, to go out there and get some more experience. Now, they did bring Skipper up. I think if things start to look a little bit too bad, then you can go ahead and say, okay, they'll probably pull a Manu out and put Skipper in because he has the experience. He's been around. He knows, he knows the ins and outs, but I don't see them pulling Manu that quickly because, I mean, it was Trey Hendrickson. It was a tough Cincinnati front. No, don't kill his confidence that quickly.
Well, we appreciate the hell out of you, Kory, for taking the time to join, even though a lot of things are happening. Red Wings are on, Pistons preseason, and Thursday Night Football. I always appreciate you. Keep up the great work, and we will talk to you very soon, my friend.
All right, have a good one.
Thanks, you go. Kory. Hey, what's going on there? It's Jeff Iafrate. Appreciate you for finishing the video. You can check out one of the videos here suggested or show support by commenting, liking, and subscribing. And buy your merchandise, FisherCTSports.com.